Alright, so, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're realising now that I absolutely love Christmas. Always have, and I'm still getting through Christmas stuff as we speak. I think my Christmas count of movies must be, like, pushing 50 now. And I get in the sense that Christmas is commercial. I also understand that, the side of Christmas I enjoy is the time with your friends and your family, and the build-up. Which in itself, I guess, is not the true meaning of Christmas, because obviously that would be the birth of Christ. But, each to their own. We all enjoy stuff in a different way. But there's a commercial, there's an advertisement on TV right now that every time I see it, I dive for the remote and I change the channel. Like, seriously, it pisses me off. There's two TV presenters, so obviously, they want to make a little bit of extra cash, nothing wrong with that. So they're doing this commercial. It's either for a department store or an online department store. I'm not sure, because, like I said, after the first time I saw this, if it comes on, I change channel. Pretty much, they're going head-to-head with Father Christmas. Father Christmas, turns up at his house, as he normally does, and he wants to give presents to the family, go down the chimney, etc., stuff like that. And they clock him as he's doing it. So it turns into a race, them against him. And basically it just turns into a comedic farce, and he just does pratfall after pratfall when everything goes tits up, and he completely humiliates himself, and they completely destroy him. And I just find it kind of, the tone of it, in very bad taste. Because, Father Christmas is he's an icon, he's an image, he's what you associate with Christmas. He's pure, what he does, for all commercialism now, whatever, if you break down Father Christmas to what he does, jolly old Saint Nick, it's good, it's pure, it's heartwarming, it's an act of kindness. So the fact that they've turned this into a commercial where these two people have decided that they cannot allow Father Christmas to bring Christmas to this house because he's probably just going to balls it up, and they go head to head with him and they beat him, and even when they beat him and walk away and he's leaving the house beaten, it's still just pratfall after pratfall. I just find that so bad. Alright, it's a commercial for Christmas. They want you to buy their product. I get that, but the fact of what they've done to me is distasteful, in the sense that it's just like, don't leave Christmas up to Santa Claus, Saint Nick. The man's a saint as well. Don't leave it up to him. He's probably just going to balls it up. You need to buy your presents from this department store. Much like these ladies did. And it was on last night, and it pissed me off so much, but it did do something good. It made me think, shit. The over-commercialization of Christmas is just, it's rampant. And then the penny dropped, and I thought, I haven't watched a Charlie Brown Christmas this year. So that's what I did, and that's what I want to talk about. Now, what's interesting about Charlie Brown Christmas is it's far more a North American tradition, than it is in this country. Which I understand, because obviously the Peanut characters, while they do appear in newspaper strips over here, it's American as apple pie. It could almost be considered a fish out of water in this country. Although, having said that, I do remember growing up as a kid and in the summer holidays watching the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show every weekday morning. But, it is more so an American tradition than it is, an English tradition. I mean, if I said to most North Americans, I said, you ever heard of Bagpuss or Mr. Ben? They'd probably just look at me and go, who? So, I get that. I love it, mainly because I lived in North America for a bit, so I got to appreciate what a big tradition it was. I mean, the irony is, you can't even buy a Charlie Brown Christmas on DVD in this country. There is no PAL release. There is no Region 2 DVD of Charlie Brown Christmas. Mine is a Region 1 import, which I think is quite sad, because I'm pretty sure most people in the United Kingdom have seen it. But to me, it's one of the best things you can watch at Christmas. Quite simply because it's groundbreaking. It's absolutely groundbreaking. Its statement against the commercialization of Christmas is unbelievable. I don't know how, commercial Christmas was in 1965, which is when this was released. This is the first television, primetime television adaptation of Peanuts, The other interesting thing was, I believe it actually had Coke sponsors on it back in the day, which they took off, and all the voices were done by real kids. But yeah, this is the first primetime version of Peanuts. And as I said, I don't know how commercial Christmas was in 1965, but I bet it doesn't hold a candle to how commercial it is now. So the stance of this show is just, it's utterly groundbreaking, the fact that it's that old and they took that stand then, when stuff these days isn't doing anything about it, they're just shoving the commercialization of Christmas down your throat, to me is just something amazing. There's a excellent level, amazing level of pure innocence in this, and it's why it's one of my favourite Christmas traditions, watching a Charlie Brown Christmas, as it is for many people, I'm sure. So it pretty much, I mean, I'm going to rehash the story. Most of you know the story, so I'm going to touch just on a few things. But one of the things I find amazing, apart from the absolutely fantastic jazz soundtrack, I mean, the jazz soundtrack for this is phenomenal. It's brilliant. But, yeah, one of the things I find very interesting with this is it's a very somber tone. There are jokes in it, but it plays at one level, and it's somber in nature. It's a little melancholy and and sad, and it's pretty much, to me, showing you, Christmas from Charlie Brown's point of view, and that he's the boy who he does not understand Christmas. He does not get Christmas. He says he enjoys getting presents, enjoys sending cards. He understands that he should like it, but for some reason, Christmas makes him depressed, and that's such a bold statement, because it's like, wow, a kid, especially in the 60s, saying that Christmas makes him depressed. One of the most moving things in this movie, I don't know where I got that pen from, is the bit where he opens his mailbox and he says hello in there, and it echoes, and he basically just goes, no one sent me a card. I understand no one sent me a card. I understand that I'm unpopular. Why do we have to have a holiday season to remind me of this? These are big things for a kid to say. When he talks to Linus about Christmas does make him depressed, to me that's very, very moving. So obviously, the story, they put Charlie Brown in charge of directing the Christmas play, and then Lucy gives him the task of getting the tree for the play. And she makes a point of saying, get the biggest aluminium tree you can find. So he goes off to the lot with Linus to find a tree, and they walk into the lot, and Linus raps on a tree like that, and it's just this empty metallic thud, and I love that bit. To me, I think that's the perfect stab at commercialization right there. It's got no soul, it's got no heart, there's nothing inside, it's empty. I think that was brilliant. And so Charlie Brown walks around the lot, and he sees this wimpy little tree. It's pretty much just a twig nailed to a piece of wood. And this is how I interpret it. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to interpret it, but I think he sees himself in the tree. I think he sees the underdog, so he goes to pick it up. I just find this bit so moving. And Linus, first of all, the thing that Linus says again, which is just a brilliant statement on commercialization, which is, he goes, wow, do they still even make wooden Christmas trees? I find that such brilliant, social commentary. I mean, like I said, I don't know how commercial Christmas was in the States in 1965, but it is going on what it is in this. I just think that's brilliant commentary. And Charlie Brown picks it up and he just goes, this is our tree. And so Linus says, are you sure? Because Lucy said pick something that reflects the modern meaning of Christmas. And then he's talking about the aluminium trees, and I don't know, sorry, I'm babbling. I just find that amazingly moving and deep for a kids cartoon, which is like, well, if that's what Christmas has come to, Charlie Brown doesn't want a part of it. And he says to Linus when he looks at the tree, he goes, I think it needs me. And then he picks it up and some of its pine needles wilt, and that in itself as well is touching, because it's kind of like that classic Charlie Brown, which is, it's very moving, very strong. I think the statements they're making in that scene are just absolutely amazing, and I love them. And so much stuff doesn't even come close to, how strong a scene that is in any Christmas show, any Christmas movie. Now, my absolute favourite scene of this movie that's just so heartwarming and touching is the bit where Charlie Brown and Linus return with their wimpy little Christmas tree, and they put it down and they show the rest of the kids, and Lucy just tears Charlie Brown a new one and just goes, that's it, this is your tree, we gave you one thing to do, and this is what you did, you screw everything up, Charlie Brown. Then he wants to start laughing at him, ridiculing him, including his own dog Snoopy, which always, I know it's for part of the show, but Snoopy, he's your master, I'd be like, show me some respect, or I'm getting you noodled in the morning. But yeah, so they all laugh and ridicule him, and this is the point where Charlie Brown breaks. You know, he just goes, I guess I really don't understand the meaning of Christmas. And then he just shouts, can anyone please tell me the meaning of Christmas? So heartfelt at that moment. That's so heartfelt. It's genuinely very moving. And then Linus steps forwards, and this is pretty much the best bit, I think, from like a pure innocent level, because I'm not a religious guy, you know, but that's the true meaning of Christmas, isn't it? And we're so politically correct in this country now, we can't even call it Christmas, we have to call it the holidays. And so the fact that I just think this bit's brilliant, that Linus steps forward and he starts quoting the birth of Jesus and the gospel, and it's just in that, you know, that child voice. I find that absolutely, you know, always brings me close to tears. You can laugh at me for saying that, but it always brings me close to tears. It's one of the purest moments you'll see. There's no other Christmas show, no other Christmas movie ever, you know, that comes as close to that moment for like kind of putting, you know, the perspective of Christmas back to where it should be instead of this commercialized train wreck it is now, you know. Possibly maybe It's a Wonderful Life, although I've always said, you know, I find that movie a little bit shouty, so I'm probably going to go with this one. And so after Linus does this epic speech, you know, they all follow Charlie Brown. He takes this wimpy little Christmas tree and they all dress it up, and you know, and it looks fantastic. They gave the underdog its shot and it looks amazing, you know, and Charlie Brown was right all along. I just find that final chunk of this show so epically brilliant, you know, moving, genuinely touching, and as I've said numerous times in this video, I can't get over what a strong stance it is against, you know, the over commercialization of Christmas. Anyone in the United Kingdom who's not seen this, alright, you can't buy it, but, well, you can, just do what I did, buy a Region 1 import. It is on YouTube. You all have to watch it in a couple of parts, but I thoroughly recommend it, because as I've said before, the fact that it's a kids' cartoon from the 60s and it takes such a strong stance and is so clever in how it does it, you know, against the over-commercialization of Christmas, it's just brilliant. It's genius. It's genuinely heartfelt. It's genuinely warming. You know, it's more so touching and moving than it is funny, which is, I guess, ironic, because it's Peanuts, and the whole point of Peanuts in the first place, when they, you know, the strip or whatever, was it was supposed to be comedic, and there are, you know, comedy moments in this, but the sort of tugging at the heartstrings and you know, the opening your eyes and the stance it takes is just, it's greater than that, and it's amazing. It's one of my favourite Christmas things ever. I absolutely love Charlie Brown Christmas. That's why I made this video. That's why it's gone on far too long, but I could talk all day about this. I just think it's brilliant, especially, as I said before, that this was in the 60s and they took this stance. I mean, I swear, if these people who made this, I'd love to see what their take on Christmas is right now. I'm pretty sure they'd shit a goat. It's that far removed from what it should be. But anyway, yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, I just had to talk about my feelings towards, you know, a Charlie Brown Christmas. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.